Students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you live from beautiful Budapest here in Central Europe. I hope everybody is having a healthy and productive and restful start to their weekend. Hi Khyber, hi Pavan, Dr. Krishna, Nazir. Nice to see our members in this members chat class. If you are not a member, of course, you're welcome to watch. We will have an all chat class coming up in 90 minutes. Hi Nashat, hi Nazir, hi Hassan. Good to see many students in the class already. In this session, we are looking at IELTS speaking part 2, talking about answering these questions with confidence, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that better. So for academic IELTS help, as usual, please do visit us at aehelp.com. I keep saying this at the start of every class for new students and to remind older students, definitely tons of help there for you if you're an academic IELTS student. And for general IELTS, GIELTS help.com, general IELTS help.com. On both of those websites, we have loads and loads of great materials for you. This is the academic, and we're always adding new materials. Members, have some of you seen the blogs that we just recently added? Some sample speaking questions and answers, and also some task 2. Anybody check out the most recent blogs? If not, check those out. We're updating a lot of blogs these days, so check that out, okay? This is the academic, blue background. Click that big red button to join us there. And this is the general version here. We're uploading a lot of blogs here. We will be putting some task 1 letter examples in this one as well. And click that big red button to join us there. Okay, so of course there's over 100 hours of video lessons, original practice exams, interactive courses. And of course, the websites are supported by native apps as well. Academic IELTS help for aehelp.com and general IELTS help for gieltshelp.com. So keep looking at those, students, because we're always expanding and adding. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me about IELTS or our products. Any questions, Adrian at aehelp.com. For those members who don't have our perks, make sure to send me an email with your membership level, and then I'll make sure that you get those perks. All right, so today, right now, speaking part 2, the cue card, and then we will follow that up with speaking part 3 in the next class. Of course, these will be connected, so speaking part 2, speaking part 3, like in the real exam, they are connected. And students, for those academic IELTS pupils doing the IELTS indicator exam, the speaking questions are still the same, except you're doing it kind of like a Skype or WhatsApp style over the computer, but you're going to have the same kind of part 2, part 3 as well for the IELTS indicator speaking section. Okay, so this is great practice for you. And then, of course, we'll continue classes, live classes on the 20th with speaking part 1. I'll put up the schedule for next week after the classes today. Okay, so let's get into speaking part 2 here. The first step, I think we've got a lot of students in here. The first step, everyone, is to read the card carefully. So you're finished with speaking part 1, you're feeling good, you're feeling confident, you're waiting for the examiner to give you the cue card, as they say. That is the end of part 1. Now we will continue with part 2. For part 2, here's a cue card. For the IELTS indicator, they're going to send you the question through text, of course. And then they'll say, okay, you'll have 1 minute to look at the questions on the card, think about your answers, and then you have 2 minutes to speak. You can take notes in the 1 minute if you wish. Okay, all right. So you're feeling good. Your 1 minute starts now. You turn over the card, and this is what you see. Okay, so let's read this carefully. Part 2, talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. Okay, read that twice so you have a really clear idea, this topic sentence. So talk about an idea or innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. Okay, you should say, what is the idea or the innovation? Where did you learn about it? Why is this idea beneficial for the future? Why is this idea not possible yet? And what is needed to make it a reality? Okay, so lots of questions in this one, and it's quite an interesting topic as well. Obviously, you recognize that here, the topic is an idea or an innovation, right? Okay, so when you have so you've read this carefully. When you're talking about an idea, mostly here it's an idea or an innovation, so it could be an object as well, but I think an idea is easier. So the topic is an idea to help humanity. Controlling idea. What's the controlling idea? So the topic is an idea that helps humanity. What would you say is the controlling idea in this question, members? How would you identify the controlling idea or the controlling ideas? It's basically the rest of the cue card, but in your own words, what would you say is the controlling idea here? Okay, so Kyber says it's not possible today. Yeah, absolutely. So not possible today, but perhaps in the future, and the requirements. Okay, so it's kind of all of those together. Yeah, so not possible today. Yeah, so Bekjan, if we take what you just said and what Kyber just said and we put it all together, then we're good to go, right? So it's not possible today, but perhaps in the future, and the requirements, so what it's needed for the future to become reality, okay? All right, so we have the topic, we have the controlling idea. Now, what's the next step? So step number one, we read the question carefully, we read the topic sentence twice. Step number two, we identified that it's an idea or some kind of an innovation, so some kind of invention. And we've recognized that it's meant to help humanity. It's not possible today, but perhaps in the future. So you're thinking about this very, very quickly. Okay. Okay, so Charlie says, think of 2 to 3 ideas. Yeah. And of course, Kyber, you're mentioning what we need to remember what has to be included when we talk about ideas, right? So let's just quickly include that here. So it's an idea. An idea, we need to think about its origin, its requirements, its utility, right? Its usefulness. So those are all important considerations. And now we need to think about 2 or 3, right? Okay. So you want to think about 2 to 3 good ideas and choose the best one. All right. Now, here, for most students, I'm sure their minds will start racing and trying to think of all these different ideas. Where do you start? Okay, so here a good question is, where do I start with my ideas? How do I bring my thoughts under control for such a grand question? Okay. All right. So before we start shooting ideas out there like a flying cab, Charlie said, or a hyperloop, okay, We definitely have to remember that it needs to be something that we can talk about. So we have the vocabulary, we can clearly explain it. Here, that could be really tricky, right? If you start talking about a hyperloop, Charlie, unless you have great vocabulary and knowledge around that, it could get really tough, right? So here's an important tip and an important strategy, okay? Think of the grand constructs in the human world and then deduce your ideas, okay? So what I mean here, okay, is that human activity and existence can be divided into some major categories. Okay, so I'm going to give you one or two of these categories. Let's see if you can give me more of them. Okay, so Boomy, I think you're kind of already on this right track. So Boomy says one of these would be the medical. So these are basically the different fields, right? Another one that comes to my mind is communication. Okay, what's another one that comes to your mind? So what are the great constructs of humanity whereby if we think about these, then we can get some really good specific ideas? Okay, so we have the world of medicine, right? We have the world of communication. Nazir, very good. We have the world of transportation. Okay, what else do we have in these kinds of grand ideas? So Rajveer says robotics, but I don't think it's, well, okay, Rajveer, maybe machinery, right? Sure, we can say that. Pooja says artificial intelligence, but artificial intelligence and machinery, you're getting actually more specific, okay? So, Dr. Krishna, very good. Energy. Okay. So, energy production is a really good one. So, these are the ones that I would think of: medical, communication, transportation, technology. Technology is quite subjective, but let's put it here. Okay. Energy production. Okay. Agriculture, so farming would be another one, right? Absolutely. If you think about it, right, you can think of the main departments in university. So if you think of some of the biggest departments in university, like the medical department, right? Or the engineering department for machinery and so on, right? Or the agricultural department, then you start to realize, oh yeah, these are the main, the massive domains of human existence, right? So, good, okay. So that's fine. I'm sure we can come up with a few more. Nazir, space is comprehensive, right? Because space could be connected to medicine, it could be connected to robotics, it could be connected to transportation. So space is, again, something else. Begjan, same thing with manufacturing. Manufacturing could be related to medicine. So what I'm looking more for here are the main kind of fields of humanity that allows you to think of more specific answers for your part 2 questions, okay? They give you direction. If you just think of space or you think of manufacturing, Begjan, it still won't be enough to guide you into a specific idea. Same thing with industry, Nashat. Industry is it's a mechanism of humanity. It's not actually a field of humanity like these ones here. Okay. All right. So remember these for your IELTS exam. Specifically remember these because these will greatly help you for your part 2, part 3 speaking. Where else could these really help you? So thinking about these fields of human perceptions and knowledge or information like medical, communication, transportation, technology, energy production. Where else could that help you aside from the speaking section to keep those in mind? Okay, where else? In the writing section, that's right, Rajveer. Yeah, specifically in writing task 2, right? So keep these in mind, okay? And I'm sure there's a couple more, especially in the social sciences that we could look at as well, like politics, for example. But we don't need to go there. Okay, so now let's hop back to our step number 3, step number 4. Think of 2 to 3 good ideas and choose the best one. So now think about these. So think about medical, communication, transportation. An idea that's something energy production, something that's not possible today, but maybe in the future and is useful to help humans. I wouldn't talk about poverty for this one so much. Social sciences are quite tricky, students, so I recommend staying away from social science topics if it's not absolutely necessary. Okay. Bekjan, heart rate check app, I think that's possible today. There's actually apps out there where you can check your heart rate, so that's possible. Okay. Charity raising funds, Musafir, that's possible today. Students, if you talk about something that's possible today and exists today, you're not going to get a very good score because then the IELTS examiner is thinking that you didn't actually pay attention to the question. Talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. You have to be very careful, okay? Think of a specific idea, all right? You think of communication, energy production, transportation, and I'm sure you can come up with some of these, okay? Pavan says, drugs to treat diabetes. Pavan, why not go a step further? So be creative here, students. And let's go a step further. Now I'm going to add these to the actual ones here. So medical, what do you think would be one of the biggest medical breakthroughs in the future that's not possible today yet? I'm sure a couple of you will right away think about this, okay? And it would be a very good choice. So let's just go step by step. So Charlie sends us coronavirus vaccine. Charlie, be a little bit more creative or imaginative. A vaccine to cure all viruses, right? So a general vaccine against all types of virus. That would be quite innovative, okay? But what else? What are a lot of scientists working on today in the field of medicine, spending billions of dollars? Remote surgery, Lapuja, is already in the works. Okay, I think COVID-19 vaccine, it's not a bad idea, but I don't think there we go, Pavan, there we go. So now you're thinking of a good one, cure for cancer. Okay. So cure for cancer. So not just treating cancer, but an actual pill that can easily cure cancer. All right, that would be a good one. Okay. Dr. Krishna says ultimate immunity with genetic mapping. Sure, that would be a good one, right? So a general vaccine, let's say, to guard against all pathogens. Okay, sure. All right, communication. Give me an innovative idea for communication that is not possible today, but would be something that could help humanity and would be very innovative for communication. Okay. So communication, internet, sure. Access anywhere on the planet. Yeah, we still don't have that, and it's not possible today. So even though we have internet in most big cities and in many places, there are still a lot of places on the ocean, in forests, on mountains, where you don't really have internet yet. So global internet access, that would be interesting. Okay. Pavan, I like it. Holographic communication, so holographic projection. In 3D. Yeah, we're getting there, but probably not quite there yet. Okay. All right, so there's a couple ideas for communication. What I'm trying to show you here is that when you get creative and you start thinking quickly about these main categories and what can happen within these, you can really come up with some good ideas quickly. Okay. All right, let's go to transportation. So what could be a good idea for transportation? Okay, I'm sure you can come up with a couple of really clever ones there. I'm wondering if anybody knows the word for that one that's always used in science fiction movies like Star Trek and so on. So what could be... Nazir, Internet of Things, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Careful not to get yourself into a difficult explanation. So Maksud says flying cars. Okay, so yeah, sure, why not? Flying cars or flying drone cars. Boomy, auto drive car, it's arguable because it's already kind of in existence. So I'd be a little bit careful with that one, but... automated cars, I'd be a little bit careful. There we go. Karen, Veer, and Hassan at the same time, kind of like reading my mind. Teleportation. That would be a brilliant one. If you thought about this answer for this question, I think you would definitely have a good chance to be on the path for a Band 8 or a Band 9 car or marks or car mark. So teleportation, yeah. Teleportation, students, if that's a new word for you, it means basically being zapped from one place into another place instantaneously. So it's like you're being sent through a telephone line. Basically, your molecules are pulled apart and then sent at the speed of light to another specific location where they're reassembled. And bada bing, bada boom, you have teleportation. So teleportation would be great. One that comes to my mind as well is zero emissions. Transport. So basically no carbon footprint. Now that would also, of course, be connected with energy production. Okay. So let's go with energy production. I'm going to skip machinery and agriculture for now because there's a lot there. Boomy, what people think of as magic in the past, we just call technology today. So in the future, what we think of as magic today, like teleportation, they're just going to call it technology in the future. Okay. Charlie, solar planes exist. So again, be careful, students, talking about ideas that already exist. Okay. This is saying not possible today, but will be in the future. Energy production. I bet a couple of you will come up with some really clever ideas for energy production. Solar power exists, but there's definitely one that humanity is working on big time. To try to figure out, because we basically believe that we will have limitless energy if we can use this type of energy. Okay, you should be able to visualize this and come up with it. There's a lot of talk about this. So Beckjohn says nuclear without risk. Keep going on that thought, Beckjohn. You'll get there. Okay. Again, once many of you think about these main categories, you'll come up with these answers quickly. It's connected to nuclear power. So Dr. Krishna says hydrogen and helium engines. Yeah, so everybody knows the difference between nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. Okay. So nuclear fusion reactors, right? A lot of research is going into that. Does everybody know what I mean by that? Nuclear fusion versus nuclear fission reactors? So if you can come up with this one, then again, you're as good as teleportation, right? So the concept of binding atoms instead of splitting them apart. According to scientists, that is much more powerful than what we have today. So these days we have nuclear reactors which work with nuclear fission. Hope I have my science right here, splitting the atom. And the much better version of this is nuclear fusion reactors, which means combining. Okay, supposedly it's a much more powerful form of energy. And we're working on that. It's kind of like what happens in a supernova. Okay. All right. So if you know nuclear fusion, that's great. If you can come up with that for this one. If you don't, hey, don't worry about it. Of course, don't talk about topics that you don't know. All right. So now we have lots of good ideas. So we have cure for cancer, general vaccine to guard against all pathogens. We have holographic communication, global internet access. Let me bring this all into one page, and then you can vote for which one you would like to do in this part 2. Now remember, students, that whatever we do in this part 2, in the next class, in part 3, you're going to have to connect to this, okay? So, of course, there are a lot of other ideas, but let's go cure for cancer. Taking a pill for cancer is number 1. General vaccine is number 2. Global internet access is number 3, holographic communication number 4, teleportation number 5, flying cars, that could be interesting as well, nuclear fusion reactors number 6. So let's take a vote here. What would you like to do? So a lot of you are thinking, well, cure for cancer would definitely be a good one. I agree. That would be a brilliant choice. For sure, because we still don't technically have a proper cure for cancer. Chemotherapy and the like is still very rudimentary for sure. Okay, all right. So it looks like your favorites are number 1, taking the cake with most of the votes. And then for many of you, teleportation. I think teleportation you could actually talk about a lot as well. The only tricky word is teleportation itself. But after that, I think you could really describe it and talk about it and give examples of how that could help people. Of course, teleportation could lead to zero emissions and less pollution on the planet as well. So teleportation could be a great try. Okay, Dr. Krishna says 2, 3, 5. I'm all in. All right, Kyber is number 5 as well. So let's go with cure for cancer. Okay, let's do that one. You can try teleportation on your own at home. I challenge you. I think that could be a fun exercise over the next couple days while you're going over your notes to do teleportation. All right, so of course our next step is to take some notes down. Let's go with cure for cancer then as our topic. Okay. Now, the important point here before we talk about our notes is, again, students, remember that when you get your task 2 writing and your speaking part 2 questions, keep these main kind of domains of human knowledge and existence in mind. Is that clear? Can everybody give me a thumbs up on that? So think about communication, think about transportation, think about energy production, think about agriculture. And when you have these in your mind, you can quickly come up with some specific and good ideas, okay? So make sure you hold on to those because that can really help you to pick out the right idea. Thumbs up, everyone. Dr. Krishna, thumbs up. Charlie Sen, good. Awesome. Okay. So don't be like, oh, where do I start? What do I think of? No, don't do that. Just go, okay, yeah, there are these main kind of domains and I know where I'm going. All right, cool. Okay, we're all on the same page. Fantastic. So cure for cancer, useful notes. Okay. So give me some useful notes. Give me some useful notes. I'm happy everybody's on board. Obviously not something that you know or that's easy to remember, but something specific. Think of quantitative information. So keep the questions of the card in mind. Where did it come from? So where does your idea come from? Why do you have this idea? Okay. So Pavan says no side effect. That's a very good one. Okay. Cheap or free. Sure. Yeah, cancer treatment's very expensive. Okay. Bhumi says 6 months ago. Why did you have the idea, Bhumi? Okay. So where is the idea coming from? So the origin of the idea should be... Beckjan says reading a book about cancer. Sure. I think many of us, sadly, but truthfully know somebody in our group of friends or family who has suffered from cancer as well. I can unfortunately think of at least a couple people in my close group of relatives and friends. So okay, so I'm writing a bit long here, but let me just shorten it up here. Maybe something like, okay, so grandpa, leukemia. Leukemia is a type of blood cancer, obviously, so there are lots of different kinds, okay. Natalie says tumor, for sure, okay. Yeah, maybe you're reading Science magazine as well. All right, so 6 months ago, give me some more. So think about the question. So where is it coming from? What is needed for it? Okay. All right. So don't get lost in too many technical ideas. Okay. Think about how will this help humanity? Okay. A pill, just a simple pill or injection. Okay, no chemo, yeah. Sure. So how does this help? Okay, Charlie says it helps because it's painless. How would this help humanity? Okay. Cure in just a couple of days. Let's be really optimistic. Sure. Okay. So what is it doing? How is it helping humanity? Think of quantitative, right? So what I would think of here is I don't know how many people suffer from cancer each year, but I'm sure the number is very high. I would be safe to say maybe 50 million people annually, something like that. Okay. Increase life expectancy, yeah. Sure. Okay, good. So remember, students, you only have a minute, so you can't write down 1,001 things. Now, I know that You're going, okay, wait, Adrian, there's a lot of us giving you ideas here, and that's true. Let's go to the next one. What do you need? What do you need to make this happen? So again, remember, you need to think about what you need to talk about an idea. Okay, so origin, requirements, utility, we're talking about that. And the question also includes those. Why is this not possible yet? And what is needed to make it a reality? So why is it not possible? What's needed to make it a reality? Okay. So what do we need? Okay, more money, more science. Sure. So scientists, medical improvements, absolutely. More scientists, more money. Okay. More research. Sure. Okay, good. So now the examiner says your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. Before that happens, hopefully you've remembered to get your first sentence ready. So let's do that. Give me your first sentence. Okay, I'll go back to the top of our notes. So, cure for cancer, 6 months ago, grandpa leukemia, and the question starts with, talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. Okay, give me your first sentence here. And again, it's speaking, students, so don't just write, also speak. Okay, also speak. First sentence. Let's go, nice and smooth here. Okay. And since you've come up with a really good idea, I think you'll do really well. So I think you'll be able to really talk about this nice and natural and connected, okay? Attack it directly. Don't say there are lots of important ideas for the future. Remember, students, this is the future, so you might be using some future participle will. You might even use some future perfect, like will have, okay? Okay, Pooja, I think that what you're saying there is a little bit later. That's like sentence 2 or 3, where the idea came from. For the first sentence, Pooja, always just use the topic question and directly answer, okay? So, Awaz says, one of the best modifications that can highly benefit humankind for the future that is not available yet today is a simple and effective cure for cancer. Okay. All right. Hassan says, in the near future, I believe cancer will become a curable disease. However, it's not quite there yet. Okay, notice the corrections here, students. Elena says, 6 months ago, my grandpa suffered from leukemia, which is a life-threatening cancer that has no cure at this moment. Okay. Again, that's where the idea came from. Your first sentence, again, just use the topic. Musafir says, there has been a surge of new technologies aiming to help the immune system identify the cure for cancer. Musafir, I think you're getting a bit too creative as well. Rajveer says, an innovation for the future which is absent these days is the discovery of a simple and effective cure for cancer. Rajveer has the best start so far. That would be your band 9 first sentence, okay? Reflecting all elements of that topic question. Students, are you following me here? I want you to give me another thumbs up here. Use the question for your first sentence. So only a couple of you actually have done that. So I think an amazing innovation to better humanity in the future, which is not yet quite possible, is a simple and effective cure for cancer. Okay, so that would be my starting sentence. Okay. All right. Kyber gives me a fist bump. That works. Thumbs up. Use the question. I think an amazing innovation to better humanity in the future, which is not quite possible yet, is a simple and effective cure for cancer. Use the question and then explain where you got this idea from. Okay. Okay, so everybody use the question. Okay, very important. All right. Then you can use this second sentence. I thought about this deeply about 6 months back when my grandpa was first diagnosed with life-threatening leukemia. Okay. All right. Yeah, so now Awaz and Hemant are adding these parts. So ever since I lost my grandpa to leukemia 6 months ago, I'm always occupied by the idea of contributing to future cancer research, which will help humanity. Okay, good. So follow from here. Give me the next sentence. So describe the idea, right? So what is the idea? So here is where I would add, what is the idea? Basically, my strategy here is to follow a set of clear, connected questions, right? So what is the idea? What do you mean an amazing innovation is a simple and effective cure for cancer? So, okay, we know what your idea is generally. We know where it came from. But what is your idea specifically? So what specifically are you thinking about as a simple cure for cancer? And this is where, of course, your notes come in handy, right? So all of these, okay, put them together into a sentence for me. All right, I'm going to do the same. And then let's see, we'll compare. So okay. So hopefully you're coming up with some similar kinds of ideas. Rajveer says, since approximately 50 million people die due to cancer each year, a cost-effective vaccine which has no side effects and is readily available can save humanity from this deadly disease. Yeah. Absolutely. So Pooja says, when I learned that there's no cure by stage 4 cancer and people are in a shock, it is then that this idea came to my mind. Okay. Bekjan says the idea is just a pill that can easily treat any type of cancer without requiring much time and money, which is available to all humanity or all people of the earth. Bhumi says it would be a simple oral pill which would not only be available free of cost, but also free of side effects. Nice use of correlative conjunctions, Bhumi. I like it. Dr. Krishna says, by the advancement of genetic medicine, we can identify cancerous genes and destroy them prior to the development of the disease even taking place, which would absolve the possibility or the occurrence of this terrible and terminal illness. Nice vocabulary, Dr. Krishna. Terminal cancer, it's what it's called. When cancer is deadly, it's called terminal cancer. Terminal. That's right. Very nice vocabulary, Dr. Krishna. Okay. Good, good. So some nice writing there. Nice composition, students. Good job. All right, this is what I wrote. Specifically, I'm hoping that by 2050, humans will have come up with an easily administered injection or an oral pill that can cure any form of cancer within just a couple of days, of course, without any drastic side effects like chemotherapy today. Now, one important point here that I wanted to show you, of course, this is going to earn you band scores, is when you can use future participle present perfect. Is everybody catching that? Humans will have come up. Why? Because it's an achievement in the future that stands the test of time. So I'm using future present perfect. Everybody catch that? Okay, remember one of the main reasons we use present perfect in speech is to emphasize achievement, right? Canada has won the gold medal in the Olympics, so we emphasize achievement. Now, of course, an innovation that helps humanity in the future is a great achievement. So using the present perfect is very well placed. Musafir, absolutely nice. Okay, all right. So this great advancement in medical, or this medical breakthrough, breakthrough is another nice synonym for innovation. Okay, welcome Marina, a new member, happy to have you. So this future medical breakthrough will save the lives of over 50 million people each year and put an end to one of the most deadly diseases ever faced in human history. Not only will it greatly reduce suffering among humans and even animals, but also improve the overall quality and length of the average human lifespan. Okay, so yeah, not most deadly, deadliest, the correction here. All right. So here, I'm just moving along. I think many of you could do a great job here finishing this up because now you're on a roll. You know what's going on. You know what's happening. So you are on a roll. Am I done? So here, I'm moving along. I'm good minute 20 seconds in to come up with all of these ideas. Am I finished at this point? Should I stop and just stare at the examiner until they say, oh, you're okay, your time is up. You're feeling so good. You're like, yeah, I did such a good job. Cure for cancer. I'm going to get a band 9. Woo! So you're just stopping and you're staring. Don't get overconfident. Careful with overconfidence. Okay, Boomy says, no, 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 don't stop. Awaz, not yet, not yet. Rajveer says, read the card, read the card. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, make sure you don't miss any questions. If you miss questions, you lose marks. It's that simple. All right? So don't do that because it's here. Why is this idea not possible yet? And what is needed to make it a reality? Absolutely. We have not tackled those last questions, and they are very important. The examiner is looking for that information. So why is this not possible yet? Okay, unfortunately, such a cure for cancer is not yet possible because not only are there many types of cancer that are complex and require different types of treatment, but also cancer is a very aggressive illness where, in some sense, the body becomes its own enemy. And this is an exceptionally difficult riddle to solve. I believe that it will require massive amounts of money and brains in order for humanity to eventually realize this simple and elegant cure. Okay. All right. So I kind of just blasted through the end there for you just so that you can get a complete response here. It's important for us to get a complete response because, of course, we have part 3 speaking coming up next, and we're going to connect our answers to this response, okay? So let's go through, read this with some nice intonation. So this is speaking, and this is another reason I kind of blasted through the end here because I want you to speak and repeat. Follow with me. If there are new words in there that are unfamiliar, it's okay. Just write them down, all right? Hemant, I did read your response meanwhile while talking, and it looks good. I like your use of R&D. All right, so here we go. Read with me. If you're feeling confident about your fluency and you're listening and speaking, then don't read, just repeat through hearing me, okay? I think an amazing innovation to better humanity in the future, which is not yet quite possible, is a simple and effective cure for cancer. I thought about this deeply about 6 months back when my grandpa was first diagnosed with life-threatening leukemia. Specifically, I'm hoping that by 2050, humans will have come up with an easily administered injection or an oral pill that can cure any form of cancer within just a couple of days. Of course, without any drastic side effects like chemotherapy today. This future medical breakthrough will save the lives of over 50 million people each year and put an end to one of the deadliest diseases ever faced in human history. Not only will it greatly reduce suffering among humans and even animals, but also improve the overall quality and length of the average human lifespan. Unfortunately, such a cure for cancer is not yet possible because not only are there many types of cancer that are complex and require different types of treatment, but also cancer is a very aggressive illness where, in some sense, the body becomes its own enemy. And this is an exceptionally difficult riddle to solve. I believe that it will require massive amounts of money and brains in order for humanity to eventually realize this simple and elegant cure. And your 2 minutes is up. Please pass back the card with the questions. Now we will continue on with part 3. And part 3 we will continue on with just after a short 30-minute break, students. A riddle, by the way, a riddle is like a puzzle. Okay, if that's a new word for you, riddle is like a puzzle. Okay. All right. Again, students, remember, you can always go back to this reading at the end of this video. It's at 55 minutes. And try it a couple times to build your fluency and intonation. I highly recommend that. And in 30 minutes, everyone, you've all done a great job. And I couldn't have done it without you. That's with your help, okay? So it's all of us there. In 30 minutes, we'll take a look at speaking part 3 questions that will be connected to the speaking part 2. So hopefully I will see all of you in half an hour for the continuation and some detailed questions and follow-up questions on this topic. Much love back at you, Khyber, Bhumi, Hemant, Rajveer, Dr. Krishna. Bye for now. See you shortly.